There are a lot of good reasons for wanting to level the front of your truck. Maybe you want to slap on some big off-road wheels, or maybe you just can't stand the nosedive look with the factory front end rake. Either way, ReadyLift's 2.5-inch front leveling kit is your tried and true alternative to a full-on suspension lift. After raising the truck in the air and removing the wheels, we have access to the suspension components we need access to. Starting off, we need more slack in the brake lines, so both the lower and upper brackets must be unbolted from their mounts. Move on to the sway bar end link and unbolt the nut from each end to be able to slide the sway bar up and off the end link. Now before removing the shock and spring, we need to support the front axle with a jack stand. Once it is resting on the jack, unbolt the lower shock mount and slide out the front shock. Lastly, before lowering the axle, we had to unclip the vacuum line from it. Lower the front axle just enough to pull the front springs, then pull the bump stops from the perch. Behind the bump stop will be a bolt to remove to take the perch off the frame. Tighten the bump stop extension to the perch and reinsert the bump stop. Thread the bump stop assembly back into the frame and use a tool to torque it down through the access holes. We next added the shock mount extension to the frame. It is a tight fit, so we had to hammer the bracket in place. Reuse the stock hardware to bolt it to the frame. Back at our workbench, we added the spacer to the spring, then placed the spring back into its mount on the axle. Be sure to set the spring in the axle correctly by twisting it into its mount. It will stop when it is in the correct position. Now raise the axle back up with the jack stand and align the spring and shock into their mounts. Once the shock mount is lined up, insert the new hardware and bolt the shock into place. Next up is adding the brake line drop bracket, which the stock bracket will bolt to using the new hardware. Then remove the brake line from the clip and bend the line downward to set it in the stock bracket location. It will attach using the stock bolt. Now the brake line can be set back in the clip and the lower brake line bracket replaced. To install the sway bar drop bracket, remove the frame mounts on each side and lower the sway bar. Attach the drop brackets to the bolts in the frame and use the new hardware to bolt the bracket in. Reattach the sway bar to the drop bracket and bolt it in to finish. Then bolt it back down to the end links on each side. The kit is completely installed and will now provide you with a leveled stance that can fit a 35-inch tire, but still retain factory ride quality. With that being said, we did in fact add 35-inch tires to the truck to help finish off the look we were after.